All right, Coach, signing day 2014. We're not on the field, but you've talked about recruiting, providing that same thrill of competition. How did the University of Hawaii compete today?
Well, we feel very good about it, Neil. But most coaches will tell you they feel good, right? I mean, it's like I always say, it's like the doctor. You never hear a doctor come out of an operating room and say, "Golly, that wasn't a very good operation." But we feel very, very good about it. We for the first time we were able to recruit to specific needs that we have. We needed corners, for example. We needed outside rush guys. We're changing the defensive scheme just a little bit to fit what Coach Clune wants from us. So it all worked out real well. We're real happy with the local recruiting. We're real happy with the guys. There's two fellows that transferred in that were here before that headlined the class, and the local recruits and the specific needs that we fill. So yeah, we're real happy about it. Really, really excited and fired up.
You touch upon that new defensive scheme, new defensive coordinator, and Kevin Clune, and that seems reflected with a really defensive-oriented class.
Yes, and like I said, we were able to look at our needs, because on offense we were fairly young, and a lot of the fellows are coming back, and we did need to fill some spots, and so we were able to do that. Maybe, for example, if there was a corner that was maybe a step behind what an offensive lineman would be, we got after the corner, because that's what the needs that we have.
Not as many offensive players, but are you happy with the ones that you did go after?
Very much so, and we're not done yet. We're still working. Recruiting goes on. We met this morning, or we'll continue to recruit. We'll continue to look for good players that maybe have fallen through the cracks, if you will. But for example, we just took one offensive lineman. We'd have probably taken two, but we have an outline, a formula, if you will. We want 41 offensive players, 41 defensive players, 3 teams players, and we're not always right on target, but we try to stay within those parameters, so we make sure that we are good enough at every position.
This is your 3rd recruiting class. How would you assess the progress of the program in terms of personnel?
I said this to the staff. We don't make excuses, but we have the players now. Last year was a good year. It was our first full year. I always consider this to be our 2nd year of recruiting. Our guys have worked awfully hard. Our coaches have. We really feel good that we filled the needs that we had, which hopefully have filled the needs that we had, and now we can move on.
Last couple of years, you've been able to convince some of the prize Hawaii recruits to stay home. How do you think you guys fared this year?
I think we did a terrific job. There's a lot of good football players here in the state of Hawaii, as evidenced by all the people that come in and try to get them out of here. What's difficult here is to assess. There's always some academic concerns that you have. There's always some needs concerns that you have. But we really feel good about what we did locally. We had initially targeted a bunch of young guys, and for the most part, we think we got what we wanted.
How about that reach? You still seem to have that reach, getting players from the East Coast and Florida.
Yep. There's a lot of good players all over the country, and we also did a nice job is trying to stay within our recruiting budget. You're allowed 56 players to bring in on campus visits. We only brought in 22. So we feel like our guys do a nice job of making sure someone is really interested, as opposed to someone just wants to come and visit Hawaii, right? I mean, who would not want to come and visit Hawaii? So I think we did a nice job with that. We have connections all across the country, and what's really fun, Neil, is we have the most diverse team in the country. I'm convinced of that, and to see these young men as they come in on their visits, to see them kind of get along one with another, one from Florida, one from Honolulu, one from Los Angeles, and they get along, I think is really, really fun for us.
What excites you the most about this year's class?
Just the number one, the local players. Number two, the corners that we got, and then some rush ends, some guys that can really get after the quarterback. You keep looking. The national championship game, the difference was the pass rush. You look at the Super Bowl the other night. Seattle won it with rushing 4 guys with the pass rush, and disrupted Peyton Manning. And we're not the Seattle Seahawks, but we want to be able to disrupt other offenses the same way.
Are there any players in particular we should look out for? Might be impact players?
Well, the 2 that we got into the program that we listed, Jeremy Castro, a transfer from UCLA out of Temecula, Vista Marietta. If we were competing right out of high school, we would never have a shot at a young man like this. But for whatever reasons, he came. He's certainly a highlight. He was a big star coming out of high school. And then Quinton Pedroza, the wide receiver from Utah, that played for me actually when I was at Utah as a true freshman. and he'll add to our receiving corps pretty good. And then again, the local players, you know, the Kyle Gifford and Dakota Torres, those kind of guys that hopefully will make an impact in a big hurry.
Well, sign day in the books. Focus now is on spring football.
Well, we won't stop recruiting. We still have a couple more spots, but we met this morning, and we're going to take a day or two Friday and maybe just kind of relax a little bit, and then Monday we start on spring football. We're anxious for that to happen. We're anxious. Kevin is awfully excited to get going. We need to kind of fix a staff spot or two. But once we get that done, yeah, this is, again, the competitive stuff happens in recruiting, maybe not quite as exciting as I mean, we either had commitments or not, you know, so we didn't have to kind of fight to the end, which we like to do, but we competed very well. We got a guy turned from San Diego State that was unusual for us, so we're fired up, ready to go.
All right. Thanks, Coach.